Thank you, Mr. Williams, and a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. So this afternoon, as per usual, it's my task to share with you the Health Emergency Operating Center Situation Report for today, Friday, July the 17th, 2020. Now, the Ministry of Health and the Health Emergency Operating Center team, we've been monitoring the COVID-19 outbreak and pandemic over the past few months. And today in the New York Times, it was interesting to note that the United States have shattered its single-day record for new cases. And this took place yesterday, Thursday, with more than 75,600 cases. And this has happened some 11 times now, just over this month so far, the month of July. When you look at the total number of confirmed cases in the United States, based on the CNN tracking system, there are over 3,622,709 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the United States at present. Now, in terms of deaths, Florida on Thursday broke its single-day death record for a second time with as many as 156 deaths due to COVID-19. And this trend is similar, is happening or occurring in other states, like 9 other states within the U.S. And when you look at the death toll for the United States so far, it's over 138, almost 139,000 deaths at present. And I just wanted to state here that more than half of the 50 states within the U.S. have issued face mask requirements. And towards the end of my presentation, I'm going to speak a little bit more about face masks. Now, globally, what's happening? The pandemic continues to worsen, and in terms of, or based on information from the World Health Organization, as at today, this afternoon, there are almost 13,617,000 confirmed cases globally, and the death toll globally stands at 585,727. And you could see that in terms of the confirmed cases, the number doubled in just 1 month, between June 16th to today, July 17th. Now, within the Caribbean region, what's happening? And so we are monitoring closely the gradual rise in the number of confirmed cases, which now stands at 75,739, and this is based on data up to July 15th. And the good news is there are a number of recoveries, with almost 35,000 persons having been deemed recovered from COVID-19. The death toll, luckily, in the Caribbean so far, it's at about just a little under 2%. It's at present, the death toll is 1,485. So when you look at the total number of deaths and the confirmed cases, it's a little under 2%, and that's good, and I hope that trend continues. What's happening locally, as we are aware, we have We've had now 17 confirmed cases, 15 of whom have recovered, and so at present we have 2 active cases. Now we continue to test all our suspected cases and contacts of cases. So to date we've tested as many as 725 persons. What's happening in terms of our quarantine sites? So at present, as at this afternoon, we have 202 persons in government-designated quarantine sites, and our 2 active cases, they are in isolation also at a government facility. And to date, that is between February and the present, a total of 972, almost 1,000 persons would have been released from our quarantine sites. Let me just break down the numbers in quarantine a little further. As you are aware, nationals are returning to the Federation, and at present we have 80 returning nationals, 50 in quarantine in St. Kitts, 30 in Nevis. And last week we would have shared with you that we have 124 students and one or two faculty members, a total of 124 persons in quarantine on the halls located at the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine. So in total, we have 204 persons in government facilities. Again, this just highlights the total number of cases so far, and at present we only have 2 active cases in St. Kitts. All right, so we would have shared last week about the number of persons in quarantine at Ross, just to highlight that upon arrival in the Federation, it's almost 2 weeks now, all 124 persons, they were sampled and tested on arrival, and their first set of results were all negative. All right, the students are presently being monitored for the onset of COVID-19 symptoms, and so the health team at the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, they are monitoring the individuals on a daily basis. Now, on day number 14, all students will receive another molecular test, COVID-19 molecular test, and only those students with negative test results will be officially discharged from quarantine and allowed to integrate into society. And for today's COVID-19 Education Corner, it's very important for me to highlight just some of the benefits of wearing the face mask. And I hope I'll be convincing, by the end of my sharing this little bit of information. And so, again, in the New York Times today, there was some information coming out of a study conducted at Boston College, whereby they looked at some hairstylists and what happened to them recently. And there is a quote. They're just highlighting that this bit of information highlights the power of wearing the face mask or face coverings, especially in indoor settings. So there were 2 hairdressers at Great Clips, and they became ill. They contracted the COVID-19 infection, and they started exhibiting symptoms. However, it took a few days before they were tested and diagnosed. And regrettably, they continued working during the period of their being symptomatic or exhibiting symptoms before they were diagnosed. And they would have come into contact with as many as 139 clients with whom they would have, cut hair, permed, etc. And, after they were diagnosed and they took a history, all their clients, they were contact traced. And so the health officials contact traced as many as 139 persons. And the results were that they all turned up negative. And what's important is that the hairstylists, they were diligent in terms of wearing their face masks, and the clients themselves, they wore face masks. And so despite the interaction between the hairstylists who were infected and the clients, there wasn't any transmission of the virus from the infected hairstylist to the clients. And the one protection here was the face mask, and I'm sure appropriate hand hygiene also. And so it's very important to recognize the importance of wearing the face mask, because it's protecting you from the other person and the other person from you. And they provided us some additional information. Another study published in the American Journal of Infection Control just highlights that as human beings, we are constantly touching our face. And it's normal for us to touch our face as many as 23 times in 1 hour. And that's a mean. And so it's important also to try and keep your hands out of your face, nose, and mouth. And the study goes on to say that the coronavirus that causes COVID-19, it can remain present and infectious on the outer layer of your face mask for up to 7 days. And I'm sharing this information to underscore the need for us to manage our face masks properly. All right, so those of us who wear the disposable face masks, it's important for us to discard of them properly in the bin and always wash your hands after taking off the face mask. And then those of us who wear the cloth or the fabric, the locally produced face mask, I would recommend that you launder or wash these masks at the end of every day. All right, do not reuse a face mask 2 or 3 or 4 days in a row. So it's important for us to manage our face masks properly. So again, those of us wearing the disposable ones, remember to discard of them properly, after it's soiled, etc., and wash your hands thoroughly after you discard of the mask. And those of us who wear the locally produced fabric face mask, I would recommend that you launder or wash your mask at the end of every day. And again, once you've touched the outside of your mask, it's important for you to wash your hands thoroughly. Remember, hand hygiene is really the best defense against the COVID-19 virus. So washing your hands, soap and water, and the appropriate use of the hand sanitizer is very important. So remember, the face mask can protect you. It can reduce your risk of exposure to the virus. And so it's the face mask along with the physical distancing, remaining 3 to 6 feet away from, persons in your immediate, company, and trying to avoid social gatherings, mass gatherings. All right. One of my colleagues tells me that he was invited, or he has an invitation to a birthday party, and this right here in St. Kitts, and he's opted not to go because of being cognizant of the need of avoiding mass gatherings. And so we need to be responsible and adhere to these non-pharmaceutical measures that's going to reduce our risk of exposure to the virus. Thank you.